Good morning. Welcome to the Cohn phone. I'll be taking your calls for about the next hour, hour and a half. First, I want to get something off my chest. I want to get in focus because I hate this. I got to get a new camera. This camera is the worst $100 I ever spent. All right, let's talk Niners. Title of this stream is, are the Niners still a playoff team? Here's why I asked that question. At the owners meeting last week, a lot of people focused on Jed York's comparing the current quarterback situation to Joe Montana and Steve Young, which was ridiculous. But that's kind of like a distraction. It really doesn't matter how Jed York compares. I mean, like his perception of the quarter. I guess it does. But what matters is Jed York's perception of the team and his explanation of why they didn't make a big splash move in the offseason. He said, you know, sure, we were a couple plays away from the Super Bowl, but we also were a couple of plays away from not even making the playoffs. His point was that, luck factors in a great deal. You can't just say, well, the Niners are a top 4 team in the NFC in the league because they made it to the NFC Championship game and therefore need to go for it. Like, from his perspective, there were a lot of scenarios last year where the Niners missed the playoffs entirely. And then how would you react in the offseason based on that? Like, really, the main reason the Niners made the playoffs last year is a couple of things. One, the Saints lost Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. They were down to like Ian Book and who else? Trevor Siemian by the end of the season. Had they just had one of Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston for a little bit longer, they probably make the playoffs over the Niners. The Niners are a running back driven team, as we saw in 2019. They go as far as their best running back, and they need an explosive running back because their best blocker is George Kittle on the edge. As good as Elijah Mitchell is, he's not getting out there. He's not explosive. So the Niners needed to replace Raheem Mostert last year. It took him half a season to do so. Deebo Samuel did it in a part-time basis, but the Niners don't want to give him more than 10 carries a game. The Niners, to be the team that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, they need that Raheem Mostert player. And everyone's like, oh, well, easy to find. The Niners haven't been able to replace him, not full-time. So it's interesting to look at it from Jed's perspective. Is this really a play? For what he's saying is like, hey, don't be so sure we make the playoffs this year. Just because we made it last year, a lot of things had to go our way. And so now look at where the Niners are. From Jed's perspective, a team that squeaked into the playoffs last year. A lot of things had to break their way. And now they've lost 2 of their better run blockers on the offensive line. Laken Tomlinson, Tom Compton, no replacement for either one. They lost their best running back, Raheem Mostert, no replacement for him. He didn't play last year. Still, he's their best running back, no replacement for him. They lost DJ Jones, replaced him with Hassan Ridgeway, but not an upgrade. Lost Arden Key, no replacement for him. They're going to lose Jason Verrett. They did replace him with Trevarius Ward, who's not as good as Jason Verrett, but he'll be healthy. Lost Jaquaski Tart, no replacement for him unless you count George Odom. Lost K'Wan Williams, no replacement for him. So you've downgraded significantly at the offensive line, especially in terms of run blocking. You're already bad at pass blocking, except for your left tackle. You still don't have a replacement for Raheem Mostert unless you're willing to make Deebo Samuel a full-time running back, which they're clearly not. They'd rather give him 3, 4, 5 carries a game in the regular season, not 10 to 15. They need someone who can hit the edge explosively 10 to 15 times a game the way Mostert did when he was healthy. They don't have that guy. Not even trying to get him. They're just focused on special teams. Also, they haven't named a quarterback. They have a kid who didn't play last year or the year before that. And they have Jimmy Garoppolo. So they have 2 quarterbacks they don't trust. They're bad in pass protection at 4 out of 5 spots on the offensive line. They've downgraded at run blocking on 2 of the 5 spots on the offensive line. They still haven't replaced Raheem Mostert. They downgraded. They lost their best interior run defender in DJ Jones. They lost their best interior pass rusher in Arden Key. They lost their starting strong safety, their starting nickelback. And they squeaked into the playoffs last year. Is this a playoff team? What's more is last year they had a much easier schedule. Last year they played the AFC South, Houston, Jacksonville. This year they play the AFC West, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Broncos. That's brutal. Not to mention the NFC West is really tough. Remember, this team was 3-5 last year before Deebo Samuel got really hot as a running back. Is he going to do that again this year? I mean, he's going to get paid big time. He probably played through a bunch of stuff that he wouldn't normally play through last year just to get that big contract. Is he going to do that again? I don't know. I think it's really interesting. It seems like on paper, this is a team that squeaked into the playoffs as a wild card team, is taking a definite step back this offseason, transitioning to a quarterback that has no experience, and they're not setting him up for success. They didn't play him last year. They haven't upgraded the offensive line. They haven't upgraded the running back position. They haven't gotten him a deep threat. They got him Ray McCloud. That's what they did. That's the only thing the Niners did to help their their first-year starter have an easy transition to the NFL. I mean, if you didn't root for this team, you'd be thinking, man, is this a 7-10 team? This is a 6-11 team? I mean, what if Deebo Samuel doesn't play running back at an all-pro level this year? What if he misses time like he did the year before? This team is as good as their running back position, and they just downgraded their run blocking. What is this team? Does Jed even expect to make the playoffs? Kyle's never gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row. It seems like they're almost resigned to not make it. Like, yeah, we could. But, I mean, we almost didn't make it last year, so just temper your expectations. I mean, that's kind of how they're talking. I mean, is it really fair to expect this team to make it back to the NFC Championship game when they have a $27 million backup quarterback on the bench, didn't spend that money on impact players? You lost 5 starters, and you were a wild card team last year. I don't know. It seems to me like this could be kind of a down season. And what a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo fans are setting up is this team is going to go as far as Trey Lance takes them. Baloney. This team could go 7-10 next year with a good season from Trey Lance, who starts slow and improves the entire time because he didn't play last year. He could have a good first season as a starter. He could be better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and this team could miss the playoffs. In fact, the way they've set up the offensive line, downgrading it at multiple positions, it seems like this could be a 2020 season where it doesn't matter which quarterback you start, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, getting hurt. I mean, Trey Lance got hurt twice last year. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt 3 times last year. Now the offensive line is worse. I mean, maybe the Niners need to keep both quarterbacks. Maybe both of them are going to play this year. I got a bad feeling about this year. Everyone's just sort of assuming the Niners have reached this standard of goodness that they can sustain. Really? That hasn't been their past. This is a team that has injury issues every single year except for last year, apparently. So for this year, for them to make the playoffs, they're going to need Deebo to do what he did again last year. They're going to need Kittle to stay healthy, Bosa to stay healthy, Trent Williams to stay healthy. I don't know about that. I don't know. Just don't get your hopes up too much. The Niners could definitely win the Super Bowl as long as Deebo Samuel is the best player in the league and he's super Deebo. But if they don't want him to play running back anymore, if they move him back to wide receiver, it's a running back-driven team. Who is the most at replacement? Is this team a playoff team? I'd like to hear what you think. Eugene says, isn't there something wrong with the narrative that Lynch is losing the trade value for Jimmy G? 2 NFC championship and 1 Super Bowl appearance isn't worth the second-round pick. It was a decent era move on. Yeah, you already got enough return for Jimmy Garoppolo. Forget the pick. Damn you, Grant. You got me feeling like they sabotaging. LOL. It's not that they're sabotaging. It's like, it seems to me, the 49, pardon me, they went to the Super Bowl. They got extensions. Ever since they got extensions, there's been no urgency. It's like they've been planning. They got the they got the 6-year extension in 2020, and all of a sudden everything's been about 2023. As soon as they got a 6-year extension, they're like planning 4 years down the line, and they've kept themselves competitive. I mean, they weren't competitive in 2020. They're competitive last year. What are they going to be this year? I don't know. They're clearly looking down the line, though. They're planning for the future. So, and they're not saying that because they want you to go and pay money at the stadium. Next presser, Grant, please ask him what the F. All right, let's take some calls. Let's take some calls. I don't know, man. We all assumed the Niners would make the playoffs in 2020 after they went to the Super Bowl, right? But it all fell apart, mostly because of the offensive line. Jimmy got hurt right away. Backup got hurt too. Everyone blamed the backup quarterback. But really, maybe if the Niners had a good offensive line, the season wouldn't have fallen apart. Also, what happened in 2020? Deebo was hurt the whole year. Mostert was hurt most of the year. The Niners go as far as their running back tandem goes. And I'd like to see a little urgency to replace Mostert. I bet you they draft another running back high because Trey Sermon is nothing like Mostert. Trey Sermon was a waste of a draft pick. Yo, you there? You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
How
So
you doing?
yesterday, I don't know if you saw, but Trey and Nick Bosa were in Jersey,
Oh wow,
and
in
I went
Jersey.
to an expo center and got to meet them, took pictures. Super cool.
Oh,
Trey
cool.
was a super cool guy, like super nice, super humble. And I
Yeah,
told him, I joked around with him. I was like, next year MVP, I got my money on you. He said, I
yeah.
got you. Does that mean he knows something? Does he know he's starting? He said, I got you.
He said, "I got you."
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he knows something. I don't know. What else would he say? Hey, man, don't bet on me. I'm not going to win this quarterback competition. I'm not that good.
Yeah, but
That's
he was.
another thing that burns me up about this season. Like you're trying to make this transition to Trey Lance. You didn't help him, and you're going to make him compete for the job. So what? He's going to have to split reps with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a great way to get him ready for the season. Nice, love it.
Yeah, he should be. I think we send Jimmy out for a bag of chips. Call it a
Yeah,
day.
man, Doritos.
Yeah,
Like the hot
anything.
shit, like the hot Cheetos is pour a little nacho cheese inside and just give someone a fork. Be like, boom, that's a 5-star meal. That's better than Jimmy Garoppolo right there because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't spicy or flavorful at all. He's
Yeah.
bland
Yeah, and at the convention, there was tons of 49ers fans.
for real.
And it was funny. I was going around talking to some of them, and it was always the older generation that was talking like, "Oh yeah, we should just keep Jimmy. Leave him on the roster for another season.
That's funny.
Leave him as a backup. He'll be good." I guess that's the pre-salary cap era talking right there.
I know. It's funny. Like there's the Jimmy fans and the Trey fans. The Jimmy fans basically feel this way. Like there's nothing Trey Lance can do to be better than Jimmy Garoppolo unless he goes to the Super Bowl and wins it. That's it. Like it doesn't matter the skill sets. And so they're going to nitpick every single thing Trey Lance. Oh, he missed a throw right there. He missed. And that's why they lost the game because Trey Lance missed this one throw. Whereas with Jimmy, like he's above criticism because he wins. If he missed a throw, people be like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He wins. So this is what I'm a little nervous for Trey this year. The team has lost 5 starters. They're not as good as they were last year. I think that they're going to take a step back no matter who the quarterback is. It's probably going to be Trey. If they don't win 10 games, if they don't make the playoffs, who's getting blamed? Trey. When it's not his fault. I mean, you really downgraded the offensive line, the defensive line, the safety position, the nickel back, and you're like, all right, Trey, go make up for all that in your first year as a starter. And Jimmy Garoppolo fans are just like waiting to just roast him if he can't do it.
Yeah,
Just
everybody's just gonna nitpick him, and then I don't understand the whole Dolphins Jimmy thing. Two is just left-handed Jimmy. They're the same player, can't do anything, just sit in the pocket, can't move.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Although I'd rather have Tua because he's younger and cheaper.
It is true.
Yeah. All right, Philip. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Peace. Rocco, what's up?
What's up, Grant? How's your day going?
It's going good. How about yours?
It's going well. Can you see me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see you. Absolutely.
All right. I got 3 main questions for you. So,
Sure.
let's say you're the Niners GM, right? Grant Cohn, Niners GM. Deebo Samuel comes in. He says, "I'm the best receiver in the league. Pay me like it. I want 30 mil, 32 mil, highest paid in the league." What do you say to
him? Not this year. If you want that, you're gonna have to do it again. You have to do it again. You've had one elite season. If you want to be paid as the top wide receiver in the league, you got to do it again this year. So I'll give you a 5-year extension right now if it's to my benefit, if it's team friendly. But if you want to be the highest paid dude in the league, sorry. I mean, what you can do is you can hold out, but you won't. You're going to come back and you're going to play again, and you might not want to re-sign with us. But you know what? We can franchise tag you. Like, I'm sorry, but all the rules are in our favor. So I don't know, man. Up to you, but we'll take care of you, but not like that. You haven't proven it. We're not going to trade you either. Sorry, you're too important.
What if next year he has, like, let's say 1,500 receiving yards
and he stays healthy? I'll write him whatever we want.
He misses 3 games.
Misses 3 games?
Yeah.
Well, depends how. Depends how. But if he essentially is an all-pro wide receiver again next year and only misses a couple of games and it's not for a serious injury, I'm cool paying him. Then he's proven it. He seems like a guy who can kind of keep doing it throughout his career. Right now, I wonder if it's just a guy who had a great contract year push. And honestly, it depends on how much you want to play him at running back too. If he's going to get 125 carries next year, you want to make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league. He's a running back. So it depends. I mean, if they're going to pay him $32 million, something like that, then he needs to only have 2-3 carries a game, and you actually have to get a running back to replace him and Mostert. It all depends on that. I have to talk to the coaching staff and see what the plan is, but I'd rather go year to year with Deebo. He's under contract this year. Play it out, and then we could franchise tag you the next year. I'd be curious to. I don't know. I feel like the Niners have leverage. They should use it.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I would trade him. I would take the two first round picks. Like, let's say maybe you think the Jets would give 2 firsts?
Yes.
I would take that. I would take 2 top 10 picks in the next 2 years. Draft, these new receiving talents in the draft. There seems to be a lot of them. Surely you could find a few who could replace him. Maybe 2 or 3.
It's kind of wild to spend $32 million on a wide receiver on a team that's afraid to throw the ball.
Yeah, especially with all of the injury history.
They have all this money tied up into receivers, and they're afraid to throw the ball. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't do it this year, but I think the Niners will. What the Niners are going to do, they're a family. Okay, It's important to not upset anyone. Everyone has to be happy. So they're going to give Deebo Samuel what he wants. They're going to give Nick Bosa what they want. They're all about removing any type of incentive to work your hardest. Like, you have one good year, Kyle Shanahan, 6-year contract. You have one good year, Deebo, 6-year extension. And then we'll see what he's like. I mean, every time the Niners have rewarded a young player after 2 or 3 years, 1 or 2 great years, they have an immediate step down afterwards. So I'm curious to see if that happens with Deebo, because I don't know what happened to him last year, but he dragged the 49ers as far as they went. And maybe he's just that good, and he was unlocked as a running back. Or maybe he's like, damn, I'm getting this contract by any means necessary. I got to play running back? Fine. I got to play through X, Y, and Z injuries? Fine.
Yeah.
We'll do that if he gets paid $30 million. All of a sudden, your body's like, man, I got to take care of my investment. This is, I got to take care of this. I'm just saying. Anyway.
And before I head out, is Frank Gore first ballot?
I don't know if he's first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah, definitely.
To me, the greatest running back of all time is Bo Jackson, but he doesn't have the longevity. He doesn't have the stats to be in the Hall of Fame. I think the Hall of Fame is more of a longevity award than who was the best at a given moment. And Frank Gore, third leading rusher of all time, you have to respect that and honor that. So I would say definitely. I mean, really, he should be first ballot, third leading rusher of all time.
Yeah.
How do you minimize? He should be first ballot. Yes, I agree.
All right. Thanks, Grant.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
Bay Area baller. What's up, man?
What's up, Grant? Hey, I heard you and I'm doing good. I heard you and Larry talking about my boy Jock Peterson, and I had to let you know I'm excited. He's back in the Bay. That's my old teammate, Star Maker Baseball Academy. Yeah, I played with him, Marcus Simeon, Max Stassi. Those are kind of the 3 big leaguers that came out of Star Maker Baseball Academy. But I'm happy Jock's back in the Bay.
What is Star Maker Baseball Academy?
Yeah, it was a baseball academy that was hot. We were winning a lot of tournaments all over the country, really. And we were kind of based out of the Woodside area in the South Bay.
Okay.
So we had elite talent traveling from all over the Bay Area. And Jock, he caught me a game. I remember we had a left-handed catcher, Jock Peterson. We were probably 11 or 12 years old. And Jock was a stud back then, but he was tiny. And now just to watch him blossom and take off, I've always kept an eye on him. So I'm happy he's out in the Bay playing for the Giants. I've been telling him on Twitter for years, hey, come to the Bay. So it finally happened. So I wanted to let you know that. But hey, Grant, I think you're right. This schedule is going to be a lot more difficult this season. And I think we're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, right? But here's the thing. I think Trey's going to continue to get better as the season goes along, and hopefully we can peak at the right time. Because if we're peaking going into the playoffs, I think we could be dangerous. We got to get in first. But if we do, we can be dangerous.
Hopefully he stays healthy, man. Once you start downgrading on the offensive line, I get nervous.
And as you know, he doesn't slide.
Huh? He's learning how to slide.
As you know, he doesn't slide. I've been pointing it out, and when Jesse had on Coach McAvoy, I sent in a super chat hey, do you guys work on sliding with Trey? Because I don't see it. And he was like, no. Like, what?
No.
Almost Like, to me, it's like, well, why don't you protect your asset? Yeah. Teach the guy how to slide, get down. Hard. I mean, he dives and he tries to protect himself, but he also was taking some hits.
And like Carson Wentz got hurt the same way, right? Diving across the end zone.
Yeah, he did.
I'm telling you, like Trey, that's the thing. Like Trey gets hurt too. Trey plays a very physical style of football. He tries to run people over. He holds the ball a long time. He tries to break tackles. I'm saying, like, and now you want to say Laken Tomlinson. We're going to go from Laken Tomlinson to Aaron Banks. We're going to go from Tom Compton to Colton McKivitz. Hey, man, I'm getting – remember last year they talked about 2019 vibes? I'm getting 2020 vibes. I'm getting a real bad feeling about this year.
I mean, right guard. What's going down at right guard? Is it going to be Brunskill? Is it going to be Jalen Moore? Yeah, I know. I feel like Banks is automatically – you drafted a guard in the second round. He's got to play year 2. So he's slotted in a left guard, Max back, but it's like the right side. How long has the right side been our weak link on the offensive line?
The whole time. And here's the thing. Even if Mike McGlinchey comes back, he's a weak link. He wasn't good when he was healthy, in my opinion. Now he's coming back.
In pass protection.
In pass protection. Yeah, like the way I looked at McGlinchey was in 2020, he was a really good run blocker, but he was 295 pounds, and he got like knocked over by a stiff wind. In 2021, he came in heavier, but was way less mobile as a run blocker. And you saw the difference when Tom Compton came in, who was playing at 295, couldn't block anyone in pass protection, but all of a sudden was getting downfield. I feel like McGlinchey's kind of caught in between his body type, and now he's got to mess up.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with the right side of that line. Yeah. But hey, Grant, the last thing I got for you is a player I'm expecting to take a huge leap on the defensive line. And I know you like this guy because I was putting together a highlight reel for my YouTube video. And as I'm doing my research, a Grant Cohn and Jack Hammer video pops up. Kevin Givens going against the Rams. You remember he had that dominant performance against the Rams, and you were highlighting. And you were like, you didn't call him Aaron Donald, but you said, hey, man, this guy Givens does some Aaron Donald type of stuff.
I mean, we're looking for a replacement for Arden Key, right? I think on third down. I think it could be him or Maurice Hurst if he could stay healthy. But one of those two guys.
Hurst, man, that guy's had calf injuries for like 3 years in a row. Like I was hopeful after the signing on him last season, but it was like the ankle flared up again. So it's like, man, I don't know what to expect from Maurice Hurst. But hey, Kevin Givens, me and you see the same thing.
Hold on, really, you don't know. Barry Baller was a dude that predicted Arden Key breaking out. So who is it going to be that replaces him? I need to know.
It's going to be Kevin Givens on the speed package, the NASCAR package. He's going to be inside on pass rushing downs. This dude's so quick. His acceleration off the line, Grant, is just phenomenal. He's bursting through. The guards are barely touching him.
And like you can understand, like I liked him. I see him in training camp. I'm always impressed. But training camp, there's no real pads, so you don't get to see runs, defending, run blocking. You don't see that part of the game. What you see is pass rushing, pass blocking, and he's really impressive in that one-on-one pass rush drills. Like you watch him, and then you watch Javon Kinlaw on the same drill. It's like Givens is a lot better. Like he's lower to the ground. He has more move. He has a plan. He's quicker. He's more explosive now. As a run defender in a wide 9, probably tougher to move Javon Kinlaw than Givens. But on third down, I think I'd rather have Givens. I know I'd rather have Givens in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, anyone who wants to check out some Givens highlights, it's up on my channel, Bay Area Baller 18. I think he's about to take off. Buy Givens stock right now because it's about to skyrocket.
Yeah, I like that. All right, man. Good to see you.
All right, Grant.
All right, peace. Karan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. We got no one waiting in the someone just popped in, Korean 49. But we can take some time. You usually have 3 things you want to say.
Yeah. So hey, listen, can you I'm looking at my screen, it's freezing. You want to pull up their schedule just for 1 second? You want to just go first reaction, win-loss record?
I don't want to do that just yet because last year I nailed it. I got 10-7, and I want to wait until it's like the order kind of matters, but let's just take a quick look. Let's just take a quick look.
Because Vegas says 10 wins. Okay, so let's go. Let's so the Vegas prediction, they say 10 wins right now. Yeah. Rams are 10.5. So they're at 10 wins right now. So let's look at their schedule. First reaction, pre-draft, that can change, right? they could get a player for Jimmy. They could get a draft pick. We don't know what's going to happen. There's a pre and post, but when it comes to just looking at their schedule, and
brutal.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go through it real quick. The home teams. Obviously, you got the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Seahawks. That's tough. Let's say they win definitely one of those games, maybe all three, but definitely let's say they beat the Seahawks. Then you got the Saints at home, not easy. You got the Bucks at home, not easy. The Chiefs, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and Washington. Correct. I mean, there's like one guaranteed win on that. I mean, they could win all of them.
They're home. Okay, so now I'll go away, right? So their away game.
So you got Atlanta, that's winnable. Chicago, winnable. Correct. Carolina, winnable. But then you got Denver and LA. Yikes. Correct. That's a really hard schedule. That could go That could go a lot of different directions.
If they go 3-3 in their division, they essentially, to me, if they can do better away, that's what you're banking on, because their home schedule is so much harder. And you know what I have seen, and you have seen, their home field means butt kiss. You know what I mean? It does. I mean, literally, they have
it does mean. Hold on, real quick though. So let's say they go 3-3 in the division, which is no guarantee. Let's say they go 3-3 in the division. Let's say they beat Atlanta, Chicago, and Carolina. That's 6-11. Yep. And we give them another win just to be charitable. That's 7-10. That could happen, despite having Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, having 6 players in the top 30. And why could that happen? Because you don't know who your quarterback is, and you just downgraded your offensive line. Why?
Well, so my thing is, my secret sauce, conspiracy thing is, I think they've got big plans for Moore, Jalen Moore, and I think they may slide him into a position instead of the left side, they might put him
he'll be the left guard, not Aaron Banks. You can't tell me they all of a sudden like Aaron Banks. Get the hell out of here. They like Moore.
And they might put him next to McGlinchey just because of continuity sake and say, mentor him along.
Yeah.
But I could really see that, because that left side has always, we've taken that for granted. That left side has always been relatively the stronger of the position.
For the first time in 5 years. Am I wrong?
And he's gone.
Yeah. He was here for 5 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years. Yeah.
Well, so we'll see what I think clearly the Niners are being guard doesn't matter. All right, we'll see. We'll see what Aaron Banks does.
I also think the 49ers have I know they do this from a very tactical business model view when it comes to upgrading their team on offseason. I think they looked around and they saw, kind of the fireworks before, free agency, and they turned around. They're like, okay, well, the NFC West or the NFC as a whole got worse. Why do we have to? You kind of buy low, you know what I mean? Why do they have to struggle so much? Because, their main competition is within their division, right? Yeah. To me, it's right. And then you can't tell me the Packers got better. They did not, right? The Dallas Cowboys did not get better, right? No. I mean, they played the Cowboys, right? Tampa Bay, okay, they're one of the they're one of the only teams that, frankly, because of Tom Brady coming back, you can't say, okay, that's not a big deal. It's them and the Rams. And Vegas is telling us that the Niners are the third best team in that division right now, doing absolutely nothing. They have neither gotten better or worse, right? Pre-draft, they have just sat idle. They got rid of a player, they added a player. It's almost been a like-for-like strategy, because I really don't think they see a sense of urgency, because they know they match up well against the Rams, and they're banking on Trey doing better than Jimmy. They're banking on it. They're telling you.
Are they? To me, what they're saying is, we don't trust Jimmy. But we also don't trust Trey. So why don't we wait a year before we do anything drastic? Is kind of the vibe I'm getting.
They don't like we've seen it across the NFL. I think teams are really picking and choosing which way they're going to go, right? And they draw a hard line. They're either going to draft a lot of players and get those draft picks, or start trading players and, via free agency and get those picks back. But the 49ers are doing something that's really weird. And that's my third point, is I really don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know if they're trying to be the Patriots or they're trying to be like the pseudo Rams. They're caught in between, and they're waiting it out. Right. So typically that means 9-8, 10-7.
I'm saying
that the same, right?
They were 10-7 last year. and they've gotten worse, and their schedule got harder, and they're going to go to a quarterback who hasn't played in 2 years, and they didn't prepare last year. I mean, what could go wrong, Karan? They have the potential to win 12, 13 games. No question about it. But they definitely have the potential to win 6 or 7 too. And I think that's what Jed York was saying. Like, we're not as good as you think we can be. We certainly can be. But did you see what we did last? Like, we almost lost to Chicago. They lost to Seattle twice, 2 times. Like, you could argue
Arizona
not that great last year.
Arizona even worse. I think the Arizona losses were so much worse.
Lost to Cohn.
You know what I mean? Lost to Colt McCoy. You know what I mean?
Unless the Niners are committed to playing Deebo Samuel at running back full time, I don't know what's going to happen to this team next year. They might decide, after they give him this signing bonus, this 5 year, we can't do that anymore. We just can't. So Deebo, you get 2 carries a game, and we're going to have to find another way. Well, that was your formula for success. They were 5-8 when he had less than 35 rushing yards. 5-8, and undefeated when he had more than 35. So either you're committed to that, or you have a replacement for it. You go as your running back goes.
There's a false sense of security there because, Grant, I watched the NFC Championship game a couple days ago. It was on, I think it was either on Rewind or whatever it was. But, you watch that game in its totality. I was like, man, they really should have won that game.
Yes.
They had every opportunity to win that game. It was like given to them. That game should have been, that I know everyone's going to go back to that Tart pick, but there were ample opportunities for them to run out the clock. And I think, it goes back to play calling, play management, play style, and Kyle's still not there yet when it comes to game management. He's there as a play caller.
The championship game because they were saving Deebo for the Super Bowl. He had 14 touches. That was too much. I don't think they ever gave him more than 14 touches. It's 7 carries, 7 catches. That's it. Got to save him for the Super Bowl. He had no touches in the last 13 minutes, and that's hilarious to me. That's what, dude. I got to take some more calls, but if you want to wrap it up real quick, you're welcome to with something positive. Please.
Something positive. Okay. We still have the draft.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And you still have the draft. You still have the draft.
I love it.
You still have the draft. I'll see you later.
Hey, thank you for telling that story about Jimmy last week. That video that popped. I appreciate it. It was good. Good
Oh,
story.
did it? Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yep.
Adios. Wait, hold on. Hey, there you are.
How are you doing, Grant?
Good. How are you, Korean 49er?
Not too bad. That was a great story Karan told last week about Jimmy and being in Detroit.
Yeah.
That just sounds like classic Jimmy to me. Just like, yeah, just talk positive about me and anything negative. And I was like,
Yeah. All of a sudden, my smile goes away. Anyway.
But let's talk about the upcoming season this year. I sense not a good season just because how do they match up against the AFC West? It looks like those teams loaded up.
I don't think you're going to be able to just run the ball and win against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. Like, you're going to actually have to throw too. I don't know. It seems very difficult. This is a whole different thing. And the last time the Niners had a really tough schedule, they went 6-10.
And also, you got Miami loading up too, and who knows what they may or not do this upcoming season with that matchup. But part of me wishes this team could be a little bit more like how Bill Belichick kind of runs the Patriots, a little bit more, not as family, but a little bit more of a cold business. Because I was talking to Bo Runa one day, and he said that during one of the parades, the championship parades in Boston, Bill Belichick traded a player right before or during the parade.
Oh, that's brutal.
So he was already thinking about the next season and how he's going to try to make it back.
Right.
For another parade because, they should have made – I just don't see a winning season. I mean, a 10-win season as what Vegas is saying based on who the teams they have to play this season.
I don't see it either. I mean, they definitely – it just seems like they're taking advantage of lazy Niner voters who saw a good team last year. But they really have downgraded. They won't commit to a quarterback. They got worse on the offensive line. Like, that's scary. And their schedule got tougher. Like, this could be a team that it's also built on a bunch of injury-prone players that all stayed healthy last year. What happens if Kittle gets hurt like I expect? What happens if Deebo misses time? What happens if Nick Bosa gets – I mean, this team is – I don't know. They're walking a tightrope is what it looks like to me. I'm not ready to make a prediction yet on how many wins they'll have, but wow, I wouldn't pick the over right now. I wouldn't bet that.
I would at this current time I wouldn't pick the over either. I would either push or say under. would be a much safer bet. But to me, would you actually foresee Jimmy being cut when he's officially able to throw? Because I know that the NFLPA would file a grievance against the 49ers if they ever said, hey, we're cutting Jimmy as soon as he gets healthy, because I don't believe the teams can ever do that, even though.
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to hold on to Jimmy. I don't think they're going to make their mind up. I don't think they're extremely confident in Trey Lance. They're not acting like it. I mean, they don't trust Jimmy, but they don't trust either quarterback. And so they'll have a quarterback competition. Who knows who? It might be Jimmy who wins. But either way, I think they're going to hold on to Jimmy. I wouldn't be surprised if both quarterbacks end up playing. It's kind of a bleak prediction, but when all of a sudden you lose Laken Tomlinson, you willingly downgrade at two, or your whole plan to save your offensive line is Mike McGlinchey coming back. Mike McGlinchey? No, I'm worried. I mean, Jimmy gets hurt every year anyway. Trey Lance got hurt twice last year. I'm concerned about the health of the quarterbacks this year. I think I don't know. It's a down to talk about in April, but I don't know.
The last point I have is, how are they going to upgrade and try to find capable starters for the offensive line this year? Are you going to actually bank on Jalen Moore stepping up, which I believe he can, but Aaron Banks are expecting to step up, or they're going to find another right tackle in the draft or off the scrap heap somehow? I don't know if that's or if Justin School can come back.
Here's my prediction. They're going to reach for an offensive lineman at 61, kind of like they did last year. And whoever it is, offensive line connoisseurs or enthusiasts will say, doesn't matter, good pick. But they're probably going to reach for someone. That's exactly what they did last year. They took Aaron Banks. Most non-Niner fans were like, 4th round grade. And Niner fans were like, oh, doesn't worry, doesn't matter. Kyle likes him. He'll fit. And then boom, it's a bust. So I'm worried that the Niners are going to take some tackle way too early. And it's like, okay, so you're reaching at 61 when you're holding out to get fair value for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, even if you were to get a 2nd round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, you probably reach for some need. Don't do that. But I have a feeling they will. Or they'll take a running back.
Yeah, that's what I kind of sense. So they'll go for a player that
they're going to reach for a need.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just choosing whoever the best player is and making them more.
And that's what happens when you don't fill your needs in free agency. If you just let 4 or 5 starters walk, well, now you can't take BPA. What if BPA is a wide receiver? What if BPA is an edge rusher? Well, you have to take an offensive lineman. That's your fault. That's too bad.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right. Thanks, Rent. You have a nice week.
You too. Good to see you. Jaden.
Hola, Grant.
Where are you coming?
Can you come back to me? I'm in the process of walking back home.
All right. Okay. Let's talk.
Okay. I appreciate it.
All right. What's on your mind?
Go.
What's on your mind, bud?
What was that?
I'll come back to Jaden. David, what's up?
Hey, I think he actually said he was walking home, so if
I thought he wanted to talk and walk at the same time, but that's all right. When he gets home, hey, Jaden, when you get home, I'm coming back to you. Don't worry. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Sure,
so actually, the thing you guys were just talking about, drafting and everything, is sort of what I wanted to talk about. You did a video yesterday where you talked about Saquon Barkley, and sort of the need to replace Raheem Mostert.
Yes.
And I do think that that's something that they might try to do in the draft. And the name that I know a lot of people are sort of enamored with right now, and people have been sort of penciling in for us, is Pierre Strong from South Dakota, who's fast. Yeah. And to my untrained eye, I actually see him being a little redundant with Elijah Mitchell. They both ran sub 4.4. Mitchell actually has a slightly faster time, but his was at a pro day, I think, whereas Strong's was a combine time.
Yes.
But like they're 4.3 guys ostensibly. But when I watch Strong, it's kind of the same thing as Mitchell, where that speed doesn't really pop on tape. Yeah. And especially for Strong, he's an FCS guy, and so you'd really expect to see him just like cooking guys. And he's fast. He's not really getting caught from behind, but he that speed doesn't really pop. And, again, another similarity to Mitchell, he's got like pretty good contact balance. He's running, like an arm tackle is not going to bring him down. But at the same time, I don't see any like real twitch from him. He's kind of stiff. I actually think Mitchell's like a little more elusive than him, which, no offense to Mitchell, like I don't think that's saying a whole lot. And if we are going to take a running back, and assuming there's not like a true burner to try to replace Mostert, your guy Kruger, I was watching his mock draft with, he did like dueling mock drafts with John Chapman yesterday, and he turned me on to Damian Pierce from Florida.
Okay.
And I think he's an interesting prospect. He's not necessarily that guy who's going to like get the edge and take off. He's not that. But I do think that he adds another different piece to the running back room that's really, really useful. He's crazy strong. So he would be like the perfect short yardage back. He's a guy who can really power through for, pick up like 2 yards. He has surprisingly good hands. So he offers you something as like a bit of a third down back too. He's someone that, the defense is going to have to respect and commit someone to even in short yardage. You can't just assume that he's in there to crush you. Yeah.
Let's stop real quick because I disagree with you on, to me, the Niners need an explosive perimeter runner. Like if you have burst to the edge, it's like 7 yards without getting touched because of Trent Williams and George Kittle, or, Mike McGlinchey and George, like basically Kittle. Kittle seals that edge so freaking well that if you have Mostert or Deebo burst, man, it's just a free 7 yards. And I think the Niners really, really benefited from that when they went to the Super Bowl, and they need to replace that. So who you're saying is great. I mean, I think Elijah Mitchell can do a lot of that too. The guy I like is James Cook. This guy, let me sell you on James Cook. All right. So he only ran.
I'm sold on James Cook. Right. I just think that where he goes is not going to be where we should be taking a running back.
Where does he go? Second round?
I think a team could take him in the second. I don't think he makes it to our comp picks.
Okay. You think he's there at 91?
At 61?
No, 93. Sorry, 93.
Or 93. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe, but again, like I don't want to
trade up for a running back like last year. Hold on, let me sell you on James Cook real. Well, let me just sell everyone on James Cook real quick. So when you watch him, you see him run a lot of toss plays, kind of like what the Niners do here. But what the Niners need is not just like Elijah Mitchell ran a 4.3 whatever. But I think what's really important is the 10-yard split, because you got to get to the edge really freaking fast. And Raheem Mostert, I don't know what Elijah Mitchell's 10-yard split is. Raheem Mostert's 10-yard split was 1.49. Deebo's is 1.53. James Cook's is 1.46. He's got a very explosive burst to the edge. I think he'd be really helpful. I think he would replace what they lost with Raheem Mostert. So
yeah,
I mean, I'd take him around 3. I'm not against it because I never understood the fit with Trey Sermon. What?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think that's a little too soon for some of the other needs and just how deep this class is. Like if we can get like a Daxton Hill or Nick Cross or something at 93, I think that's just more important, especially because I do think that, and I think Vish is really on this, I think Ray McLeod, or is that his name?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
running back probably.
I think he's going to be more of the outside zone guy, and maybe, like you said, like on a toss, like maybe not a true toss, but something where he's like in motion already. I think can kind of replace that. And so for me, the Florida back, like I know it's like not what I agree. Like I think that's like something a style that needs to be replaced. I just if we were to take a running back where I think we should take a running back, which is probably in the late rounds, I think that's a guy who can come in and be part of a committee and offer something that we don't have. So
the funny thing with the Niners is like Mike Shanahan showed that you can get running backs late. Kyle Shanahan keeps trying to get running backs early and failing, but it is a running back driven team. The running backs are extremely important on this team. And the Niners haven't, we all talk about, well, they haven't found the right quarterback. They haven't found the right running back. I mean, look at all the guys they've gone through. They went through Carlos Hyde, Alfred Morris, Matt Breida, finally stumbled upon Raheem Mostert, but he got hurt. And then they're back in the woods looking at Jeff Wilson Jr., Tevin Coleman, Elijah Mitchell, who's pretty good but gets hurt a lot, Trey Sermon, like Jerick McKinnon. If they could just get this right, I mean, I wouldn't care where they drafted the guy. Like the Browns drafted Nick Chubb in round 2. They don't have to worry about that anymore. He's a great player. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Cook could definitely be that. I guess
or Saquon.
Maybe Saquon. He scares me a little bit.
Would you rather trade a third-round pick on James Cook or trade it for Saquon?
Cook.
Yeah.
Because the money too.
Yeah.
Because Barkley's going to be expensive, relative to his position. But yeah, I guess my big point was I think Strong, where he's probably going to go, people are going to be disappointed because it's like we're going to have 2 Elijah Mitchells, which isn't terrible, but he doesn't have that speed that pops. He's not, Deebo, I think, is a great example of someone who, like, I don't care what his 40 time is.
Yeah.
That run in Dallas in the wild card game, he splits 2 defenders in the second level, and it's like that's just
the only other person who could do that was Mostert. And frankly, Mostert was probably a little better. Deebo got shut down in Green Bay and against the Rams the last 2 playoff games. I don't know if a healthy Mostert would have got shut down, but so Deebo can do that a few times a game. They got to find a real replacement for it, in my opinion. And I wonder how Mostert's going to do in Miami. Curious. If he's healthy, wow, that offense is going to be fast.
They're a fun team in the first 10 yards.
Yes, absolutely. And 2 is the limiting factor. Thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Later. Yo,
what up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm chilling.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we're actually going to go wide receiver at number 2 or second round pick.
Wow. Okay. Tell me why.
And so Kyle kind of loves his wide receivers. That's kind of his little pet projects, his toys. And also, like, I could see him going, if I just do play action, that'll give the offensive line enough time to hold the defensive line at bay so we can get it down to someone like Christian Watson. You know what I mean? Like, I see him, making these little, what do you call it?
Trading up for a wide receiver. Wow.
Well, I don't know. Last time I saw he was kind of open there at 61. I don't know. I haven't seen a mock draft in a couple weeks. Has it changed?
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to look like a top 45 pick. He's a 6'4" dude who runs a 4.2. I mean,
yeah, okay,
yeah, but look,
I could see that.
Take a wide receiver. It would be a nice vote of confidence for Trey Lance if they got him another wide receiver.
Now, my second question was: do you ever see this Jimmy Garoppolo situation ever playing out to where John Lynch and the management can say they won this?
The way I look at it is this is what Adam Schefter laid out a few weeks ago when he said he was the first person to say the Niners could keep Jimmy Garoppolo all year. And everyone's like, oh, man, Adam Schefter just wants attention. Well, what he said was, look, the trade market isn't there for Jimmy right now.
Right.
They want to get something for Jimmy. They know if they keep him another year, they most likely will get a 3rd-round comp pick for him next year. So they seem more interested in getting that or something better than cutting him and getting nothing, which to me is crazy. You're spending $27 million on a comp pick. What's more important, a late 3rd-round pick in 2023 or $25 million of cap space now? I think that's an easy choice. But again, I think that the ego is in play here, and no one wants to just take the loss and be like, you know what? I'm cutting him. It's my fault. No one wants to do that.
Not just that, but reportedly they were offered a second for him already. So it's like, you could have got better if you made a better deal sooner. You know what I mean? And
right. And I think they know that they're going to get ridiculed the day if they were to cut him. The media response that day, that week, would be just ridiculing the Niners. You could have got this for him. You could have got that for him. What are they doing? Are they incompetent? It goes away after a week. No one really cares. And you move forward. No one's going to get fired because you cut.
All you have to do is release his ass and make a splash signing.
Boom. Everyone forgets.
Yep.
They're like, oh, what an incompetent.
Get us a flashy edge.
Boom. Oh, great. Guess it was
Get us a safety.
Yeah.
We forgot about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, now we have Stephon Gilmore. Oh, see you, Jimmy. Who cares?
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu. Oh, hello.
It's that simple. But they
49ers Twitter just did a 180.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, John Lynch goes from being an idiot to being a genius in a day.
And he could be like, you know what? I thought I was going to do something, but then once I realized it just looked like we weren't going to do anything, I just got off the pot and I decided I would be a leader and make a move.
And also, like he's saying, like, look, it's Jimmy's fault. We could have traded him, but Jimmy messed this up by getting surgery. Like, just say, okay, we're cutting him. We didn't want to cut him. Jimmy did this, and it's more important for us to just get rid of him, put all our confidence behind Trey and create cap space than to keep this drama going any longer. Niner fans would get behind that.
And they said they want to do the best thing for Jimmy, right? Cutting him right now would be the best thing for him. It gets him out of that big contract. He gets to pick wherever he wants to go. Him and his agent can figure out the best home for him, new contract, all that. It makes no sense to me.
What's not fair for Jimmy, or not best for Jimmy, is putting him on the bench for his contract year. You think he's going to like that? Hey,
yeah.
It's almost like a petty vendetta. It's like, oh, you messed up your trade value? Well, now you get to be a backup in your contract year. Good luck. And we're going to spend $27 million just to spite you.
And we're going to put out all the tape and practice of you throwing those picks.
Great. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's right. That's right, man. Well, we'll see what happens, man. Good to see you.
Bye, man. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Jaden, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk, man.
Okay. So I'm kind of upset at you, Grant.
Really?
Just a little bit, not too much.
I'm upset with you.
You kind of downplayed Elijah Mitchell's success a little bit, man.
He's good. He's good.
He is.
And I think
he's a stud, man.
Hold on. Can I try? He's good. And he's good. He's like a good part of a committee. But I think the most important part of the Niners committee is the explosive guy who gets to the perimeter. And that's not him. But he's a tough between the tackles runner. And you need that guy. It's a nice compliment.
Okay.
He's what Tevin Coleman was supposed to be. He's better than Tevin Coleman. That tough guy who gets a couple yards after contact, but not the big home run hitter.
Okay. Well, then.
Sorry to offend you and Elijah Mitchell fans everywhere. He's a good player.
It's not that I think Elijah Mitchell should be number one. I think he's our number two guy for sure.
Okay.
We do need a guy who can both go inside and outside.
I'm with you. He's a number two. So who's the number one? It can't be Deebo.
It can't be Deebo.
He's your number one wide receiver.
Who are some free agents right now, Grant?
I mean, free agent running Frank Gore. Frank Gore's in the team.
No, he's retiring. Man, get out of here.
You got to draft running backs, dude. You got to. I don't want guys who've been hurt. Unless you want to trade for Saquon Barkley, you can do that.
He gets hurt.
Exactly. So give me a guy in the draft who hasn't torn his ACL yet.
But that'd be such a young running back core, though.
That's okay.
How would we know that would help Trey?
Young running backs succeed. It's okay. What I don't know. I feel like what's dangerous is if this team that's all built on running the ball doesn't have a running back they trust. I mean, Elijah Mitchell got hurt a lot of times last year.
He did, but how much does the coaches forcing him to carry the ball on games that he didn't need to carry the ball, how much does that tie into it?
But, I mean, that's how the Niners play. I mean, they're afraid to throw the ball for a million reasons. They don't trust their quarterback. They don't trust their pass protection. So they run the ball.
How come they weren't scared to throw the ball whenever Trey Lance had his first start against the Cardinals then? What was that all about?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You got me there. Checkmate.
Checkmate. No, because I've had this conversation multiple times. Whenever they played Trey in the Cardinals game, they gave him no run support. And I'm pretty sure they did the same thing in the Houston game. I might be wrong.
No, they ran Elijah Mitchell a little bit more in that game. They didn't run him much against Arizona.
Yeah, they ran him, I know, 8 times the first time against Arizona and 9 times the second.
Okay.
I know these numbers.
All right.
That's whack.
Whack. It is whack. Well, I mean, here's the Elijah Mitchell. Sorry I downplayed you.
You downplayed him, but he's not a first guy, so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He'd be a great number 2 to Raheem Mostert. But Mostert's gone.
I don't even know about that because Raheem Mostert couldn't even stay healthy.
It's true.
Like, I love Raheem Mostert with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
when he was healthy, the Niners went to the Super Bowl. Because when he was healthy, he ran the ball like 27 times in the NFC Championship game and was the reason the Niners have made a Super Bowl appearance in the Kyle Shanahan era is because of Mostert.
Mm-hmm.
When they have a running back who can do that,
I completely agree.
And I mean, it's
And
not
what you said,
the Niners' fault that Mostert got hurt, but they got to replace him. They did kind of replace him with Deebo last year, but that's not a permanent replacement, in my opinion. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You need
I
to
think
get someone who you feel comfortable giving 27 carries in an NFC Championship game, and that's not Deebo.
it's not.
It's
but
not.
there's not much. I mean, I guess you can do it in the draft, but like, I'm gonna be honest. This draft, who is there? That James Cook guy that you be talking about, he seems like he could be the candidate.
Dalvin Cook's little brother, yeah.
Oh, it's Dalvin Cook's brother?
It's Dalvin Cook's little brother, yeah. He averaged like 6.5 yards a carry at Georgia. I mean, everyone says he's an explosive chunk runner who's not that great between the tackles, needs to be in a committee. Perfect. That's Mostert. Yes. Give me him. That's all I'm saying.
Dalvin Cook's brother, huh?
Yeah, check him out, man. He's good.
Okay. Dalvin Cook would probably be working out with him and make him better,
now,
honestly,
Dalvin Cook's
too.
better, but this guy's fast.
Well, no. I'm saying that Dalvin Cook would be able to work out with him and make him even better.
Yep.
Which they're probably already doing.
Probably.
Okay, I'll take a look at James Cook.
You should. Check him out. Tell me what you think next time we talk.
All right. When's the next film study with Jack Ham?
Tuesday. If I can get my hand on some film, we'll do some film. So 2 days. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
See you. Real quick, take some questions. Ryan and Jennifer Wood says, just jumped on, and I have a question. Why are we letting Tart walk? Dude is a beast. Because they have no cap space. Zero. They're like very little cap space. They couldn't afford him if they wanted him. I'm sure they're offering him like, $800,000 and he'll leave on principle to go somewhere else for like $1 million. They don't have any money. Ken says Cook is a scat back just like Ely. They both get to the edge quick, but Ely is the better runner. Cook is considered better receiver, lineup, wide end, and slot. Well, okay. I mean, you're not going to draft a running back in round 2, are you? I mean, I'm just saying, you may not draft a running back in round 3, but Kyle likes spending a lot on running backs. He tends to do it a lot. What's up, man?
Hello, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you doing better, man.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm with you on drafting. Well, I don't know if you said it, but somebody said it. I'm with the wide receiver thing. Yeah, drafting somebody super fast because I think we're in the midst of changing our offensive identity. I mean, depending on how Trey plays, because I mean, essentially he's our most important player next year, right?
Yes.
We're gonna go as he goes, like when it all comes down to it. So I think helping him out as much as possible is gonna help because. What if he?
I disagree with that. I fundamentally disagree with that. The Niners are going to go as far as Trey goes. I mean, that was never true for Jimmy. Like they always transcended his limitations, and they went farther than. I mean, Jimmy never took him anywhere. He was a passenger. This is a team that's driven by their running backs when they're good, and so I don't see this. I mean, unless Trey Lance becomes Patrick Mahomes, then yeah. But this is a guy who's a first-year starter, hasn't played in 2 years, a run-first team. I think they go as far as either Deebo or whoever their number one running back is. That's been their pattern.
Okay. I agree with you.
I don't mean to jump.
No. I think I needed to rephrase that.
Sure.
This team's going to be a Super Bowl team or bust based on Trey. Can we agree with that?
Like so if he can transcend the offensive line and all that, yeah, I guess.
Right, because if he plays well, are we a running team anymore? If he plays like even half of what Mahomes is.
I mean, but again, like the offensive line is terrible in pass protection. Right. So even if he's a good, I don't know. I don't know.
For me, I think in this draft, we got to go O-line heavy or like shore up the O-line, draft everything that could help Lance. Like anything we put out there, even James Cook, get a fast running back, try to get Christian Watson, or if we can't, oh Lord, I can't remember his name. Is there a way we can make a deal for like somebody like Dearness Johnson, like the third string Browns running back when he was exploding?
Someone who can get to the edge, because I think that's a really big need. When the Niners have that guy, I think it's the most important thing in their offense. I mean, that's why when Deebo started doing that, they started winning. If the Niners have someone who can get to the edge, they pretty much don't lose. It's 7 yards for free. It's hard to stop it. Mostert could do it. Deebo can do it. If they could just find someone who could do it and stay healthy, they would never lose. But there's guys on the team.
Do you think then there'll be less of that for Deebo? Because I mean, I love what Deebo did, but I kind of want less of it because it's taking a toll on him.
I mean, I could see them giving him a 5-year, $100-something million contract, and all of a sudden saying we can't do that with Deebo as much anymore. Okay, then who are you going to do it with? You have to do it with someone. Has to be someone, and it's not. It's not Hasty. It's not Wilson. It's not Sermon. So it's someone you're going to draft. Okay, all right, that's fine. Open-minded, but you got to draft. It's a big need. It's a big freaking need. Straight up.
Trey could be one of that too. Well, I mean, not like the main part, but like like as a little extra sauce.
Let's go. Battering ram. I got to take.
I'll be down for that.
Man. Good to see you.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care. Little Rumble 24 says we should trade for King Henry. I don't know, man. It's pretty expensive, but I see what you're saying. I would probably say no. You don't have the first round picks to get him. EMA Beats, what's up?
Yo, Grant, how you doing, champ?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. So something I was thinking about with the Mike McFlinchy, your boy. What if Aaron Banks was somebody that he referred, and that's why in the hell we got him to begin with. I kind of thought about that.
It's possible.
So maybe he should get some of the blame along with Kyle and them for giving up extra oh no, that was for Trey Sermon that we gave up the extra capital to trade up. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was stupid too.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, my concern with the Niners is like their left guard is a total question mark. Their center is going to be 37 years old. Their right guard is Daniel Brunskill, and their right tackle is a total question mark, or Mike McFlinchy, who's bad. So I don't know.
Yeah, I seen Justin School was working out. I mean, he wasn't bad, but I just feel like those positions need to be even more solidified and secured for for Trey's sake, and just for the overall offensive flow. And having questionable guys now that Laken Tomlinson is gone on the offensive line makes it leaves us even more vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Generally, when teams like put in an inexperienced young quarterback as their starter, they want to surround him with a really good offensive line, usually. And they can afford to because he's cheap. Like the Jets just signed Laken Tomlinson because they have Zach Wilson, who's cheap and needs a good offensive lineman. Why would the Niners not do that? The Niners think what a young quarterback needs is a really expensive backup. That's crazy. I don't get that. What other team builds a roster like that? No, what this guy needs is a guy making 4 times what he's making, breathing down his neck. The guy, and he's the leader of the locker room, and everyone loves him. That's what this is going to make Trey Lance better. Like, oh man, good luck, Trey. Good luck. Because here's the thing: if the Niners were to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo now, all those Jimmy stands would leave, and all the the fan journalists that are like kind of on Jimmy's side would immediately go to Trey. The fans would be all in with the quarter because you root for a team. There's only one quarterback. There's no split allegiances. Trey would actually get support. As long as Jimmy's here, there's going to be half the media nitpicking him, half the locker room nitpicking him. It's not fair. It's not fair.
No, it's really not. And I think it's the epitome of being counterproductive. It looks like, this stuff with Jimmy that's still, with him still being around, it leaves a lot of uncertainty with the organization, decisions that are being made within the organization and management. It doesn't look like a 49er kind of, like we're supposed to be in the upper echelon of just how we handle things, how we do business, so on and so forth. But this is really sloppy. This is almost like
Jimmy Garoppolo. When you hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo, you send a couple of messages to your team and to your fan base. One, we don't know how confident we are in Trey. Straight up. Whether or not they feel that way, you're sending that message. We don't know how confident we are in Trey, and we don't know how confident we are in this team. So instead of just like really going all in and putting all our assets into this one, we're going to hedge and, get a couple players, but also plan for the future. So what message do you send to your locker room? Like what you're saying is like, you made it to the playoffs last year, but it was a fluke. And we don't think you're that good. That's the message they're sending. I'm sorry.
No, I concur, man. It's really embarrassing, like I said, and the criticism of Trey, it's kind of crazy because I mean we know how many games he played, how many snaps he got. I mean, look at all of the other starting quarterbacks, aside of Mac Jones, who did well. He did really well. But I mean, Zach Wilson was.
You know why Mac Jones did well? Because the Patriots have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Yeah.
That
and
helped.
they got BB, Bill Belichick, to make sure that he was going to do that correct. I mean, he got rid of Cam Newton. That takes a lot of balls to get rid of, and have lackluster backups, and stuff like that, and just not even really concern yourself with anything else and put all of your investment into Mac Jones with confidence. So, Bill Belichick,
by cutting Cam Newton, he allowed Mac Jones to become a rookie leader. And Bill Belichick's smart enough to understand that you need one leader on the team, and it's the starting quarterback. You can't have the backup quarterback being that popular. I mean, Cam Newton was that popular. I'm just saying. It was split things. He understood that. The Niners don't fit. They're like, we're tight. We don't have that problem. It's human nature.
And lastly, man, the Ross Dwelly and Kyle Juszczyk lack of usage. It kind of just seems like, I don't know what the hell Kyle's doing. He has his favorites. I think that nepotism thing and kind of what he wants to do, he gets overzealous, and he forgets that, man, you have a powerful roster. You have a lot of great players, and if we're always so if we can be predicted all the time, like everything is like, oh, we knew they're going to do this, we knew they're going to do that. Well, you got to switch it up, Kyle. You got to start going to Ross Dwelly. I mean, he's strong at the catch point. He's the tallest receiver we got on the team. He's got great hands, very, trustworthy.
But
and
they use him as a backup.
They
use him as a blocker and a special teamer. I don't get that. They also use Juszczyk as a blocker. They call him an offensive weapon. No, he's a blocker because you're afraid to throw.
And he deserves to get the ball. Kyle Juszczyk loves to get the ball and get in the end zone. He's really good. We're paying him all that money. He wants to do more.
You can throw option routes to him. You can throw deep routes to him. No one ever hits him. He's always wide open. Everyone always misses him.
Oh my God, Jimmy missed him on the same pass on both sides of the damn field, man. I still, I still
change his name from Juszczyk to useless because they don't use him.
Yes,
he's
man.
Useless to Kyle, apparently.
That's what he's showing.
I could use him. Damn, to me, he should be the third down back. Why is JaMychal Hasty on the field? It's like Juszczyk's a better route runner, better receiver, better blocker. Why have they not figured this out? It's been half a decade.
It's pretty crazy, bro, because like the JaMychal Hasty, I was excited initially, then it seemed like he got hurt like every other game, and it was like, okay, so we re-sign him. Yeah, we re-sign him. Yeah, the fumbleitis, and all of that stuff. Maybe John Lynch should take a position, man. Maybe in the office, like Bruce Arians did, and just let Adam Peters, since Adam Peters was almost gone after the season, and make Adam Peters the general manager. Somebody's going to be a fall guy after this year if everything blows up. With the Jimmy.
That's why John Lynch doesn't want to cut Jimmy. You cut Jimmy, Trey Lance doesn't get to the playoffs. Who's in trouble? John.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. The Niners are probably dying to give that job to Adam Peters anyway. So maybe John Lynch is protecting himself by keeping Jimmy. Ever think of that?
That would make a lot of sense, and he didn't look very comfortable when he was talking with the media just recently at the coaches meeting. He had kind of like the stone face a little bit, at least from what I saw. Maybe that was just the thumbnail that, it looked like John was a little bit more, not as comfortable as he usually is. No. I don't know if he was fidgeting like he always was, but no big smiles, no real like confidence exuding really any confidence. So we'll see what happens though.
We will see. Hey man, thanks for calling in.
Hey, thank you, champ. Take care.
All right, take care. Real quick, we got Vince saying, hey, Grant, when do the pre-draft interviews hold them accountable? About 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That'll be very interesting. And what I love about John is he does not get mad when you ask him pointed questions. He'll be like, hey, Grant, that's a fair question. And then he won't really answer it, but like he won't get mad at you. BT Dub, how did Ward's interview with you affect his relationship with Armstead and Jimmy G? Just throwing it out there. I don't know. But I'll be in the locker room this year, and I'll let you know. I'll be there, see how they treat Jimmy Ward. I don't think Jimmy Ward gives a damn. Jimmy Ward's in his 30s. He's very self-confident. I feel like, he can say what he wants to say. El Jefe.
Right. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
To answer your question, do I think we're a playoff team? Yes. I don't think there are any other teams in the NFC. I mean, to say we're not a playoff team means that we're not one of the best, top 7 NFC teams. So I think we are.
The reason I'm skeptical is because I'm afraid, like, this is a team that's had a lot of injury issues in the past. They've had injury issues at quarterback. You are downgrading your offensive line.
True.
And you have a really tough schedule this year. I mean, was last year a fluke, or is that just who they are? Because the Niners haven't shown that they've been able to have back-to-back winning seasons with Kyle Shanahan. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm being worried.
Yeah, true. You have a point. Now, another question I got for you. Draft day trade. You think there needs to be any draft day trade?
Yeah. I think hold on, let's put it this way. They have 9 picks, right? But 3 of them are round 6, 3 of them are round 7. Those aren't, I mean, you might get Elijah Mitchell's a 6th-round pick, but really, if you're looking for instant contributors who aren't running backs, they might need another pick on day 2. They were counting on another pick on day 2 when they traded Jimmy, but they didn't do that. So now I think they need to trade down from 61. Seriously, if they can trade down from 61 to 75 and get an extra pick in round 3, they should probably do it because, again, they were expecting to have, say, 82 from the Colts or whatever, and they blew it. Yeah, trade down.
I don't know if that surgery was smart, man. I mean, like, it sounds like they weren't expecting the surgery either. So, I mean, I don't know if that was something that they talked about. Maybe Jimmy and his agent knew that, there was no value out there, and he knew that, like, well, you're not going to get that much going anywhere else. Because it doesn't sound like they're going to release him.
I'm thinking that Jimmy wanted to go to the Saints or the Steelers. And it was real clear that those 2 teams would not trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Or maybe they'd trade like a 6th-round pick, something the Niners didn't want, but they'd sign him. So I think Jimmy and his agent tried to think like, okay, well, if we do the surgery late, the Niners will have to cut you because they want to use that cap space, and you can go to Pittsburgh or New Orleans. They didn't think that the Niners would be so put off their nose to spite their face. Like, oh, you thought we wanted to use cap space this year? We don't even care. We're more interested in getting back at you. So what do you want? You want to pick your own location? Now you're on our team another year. How's that feel? And Jimmy's like, well, at least I get $27 million. It's not that bad. Yeah. So what a way to spite a guy. Here's $27 million. You have to stay with us. Like, okay. Could be worse.
I think it's more of I think they're embarrassed, man. Because there's no way that people that you don't know that you made a mistake with this guy. Like, you paid him too early. You paid him. He was an injury. He was an injury risk before we got him, and you paid him way too early.
Yep. You traded for him after 2 starts. He got hurt once. You extended him after 7 starts, gave him a no trade clause. Then he tore his ACL. Like, you got too excited. And that's what I've been trying to talk about with, like, Deebo and Bosa. Now, they've proven more, but still, Bosa's had 2 great years. Deebo's had 1 great year. Kittle got paid after 2 great years. Warner got paid after 2 great years. Armstead got paid after 1 great year. The Niners need to stop acting like 1 or 2 great years proves the guy's going to be the next Trent Williams. Like, let him do it 4 times in a row. That proves Trent Williams has done it like 10 times in a row. He's had 10 pro, except for the year where he had cancer. He's been a freaking all-pro or pro bowl. Those are the kind of guys you feel comfortable spending top of the market on, not guys who've done it for a year or 2. I'm just saying. Jimmy did it for 7 games.
I think they need to let him go. I think they need to release him and just take the money. But I think it's too much ego going on. Like, now some of the things that Kyle said made me, like, some of his reactions did make me think that, okay, he doesn't want to keep Jimmy at all. He's all behind lane. But I mean, I don't know. But then when you come out and say that, like, you will keep him again, like, it's like you're going to create, like I say, you're going to create an issue with the players in the locker room because it's going to be a split locker room. We already know Ayuk is going to be on Lance's side.
Yep.
Deebo's
going to be on Jimmy's side unless Lance is feeding him the ball. Deebo is team whatever quarterback gives him the ball all the time.
Or I mean, it could be, or we could actually see what Cal talked about last season when he said everybody don't know it, because we also don't know, because they could get into training camp, and of course since Jimmy can't throw, that gives Lance the upper hand. So even though it's going to be costly to sit him on the bench, but I mean, you think we're better off sitting him on the bench than starting him?
I think they're better off cutting Jimmy Garoppolo. I can't believe he's still on the team. I can't believe it's April 3rd, 2022, and Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team. I can't freaking believe it. But at the same time, I can. It's like the Niners. Ooh, they just are.
Yeah, it's the way things been going. It's the way things have been going. Just like when he got hurt, it's like it's the perfect ending to what's been happening with him. He's either hurt or his injuries are causing us not to be able to get rid of him.
Anytime this organization has to make a big decision, they're either terrified to make it or they make the wrong one. They make all kind of good decisions in round 5 and 6 and stuff, but anytime it's like a big decision, Buckner or Jimmy or Lance, they're like, damn.
And see, Buckner is still regrettable. Buckner is still a regrettable decision. That's still because Kinlaw, they're just now saying that he's going to be healthy, and we still don't know that's the case. So that's still a regrettable decision.
I agree. Hefe, I got to take more calls, man, but it's good to see you.
All right, man.
All right, take care. DJ Abcool, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Having a good day?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm having a good day so far, man.
Cool. So you're a big Colts fan?
Yeah, I'm a Colts fan, bro. Now, I'm not here to brag about the Colts or anything, because obviously we have.
You're really upset that they didn't get Jimmy Garoppolo this year, right? You're really mad that you ended up with Matt Ryan instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, right? No.
I would rather have Matty Ice than Jimmy G, man. After what I saw, like
at a certain point that you were gonna have Jimmy G this year, how did you feel about that?
Okay, at a certain point, I thought I was gonna get Jimmy G. I was fine with it a little bit due to the fact that Frank Reich specializes in improving QBs. He's proved throughout the years that he can improve a QB. Like Phillip Rivers had drastically improved stats from with the Chargers to with the Colts. So I was like, maybe Jimmy G can improve, but other than that, I was a little scared just because I was gonna be like, well, now we're gonna make the playoffs because he's a winner. But I don't think we're gonna ever win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
No one ever will. And the Niners have been waiting 5 years for him to improve. I'm just saying. 5 years. It doesn't happen. He throws the same interception to the linebacker every game.
Wow, man. No, I've seen it. I've seen it. My dad's a 49ers fan. He struggles.
So what did you want to talk about? Sorry, I didn't even let you get started.
Oh, no. I mean, I kind of want to talk about, your Jimmy Garoppolo situation and how the 49ers have been managing it. Obviously, like, when we look at, my GM, like, in my opinion, I think we have one of the best GMs in the league. He's been dealing with dead cap really good. Obviously, the Jimmy G situation, I feel like now you guys have him as a backup with 27 million. So, like, it's just really weird, and I feel really bad for you guys just because Jimmy G's doing this to you guys. That's really upsetting.
I mean, they're doing it to themselves. They've been able to cut him with minimal dead cap for a couple of years, and they refuse. So whose fault is that? I feel like the good teams, like the best organizations, are comfortable admitting when they're wrong and moving on. Be like, you know what? We shouldn't have given that contract. We shouldn't have drafted that guy. Let's move on. But the Patriots do it all the time. But the Niners are really like, they're like, D4 is going to be healthy this season. Jerick McKinnon's going to give us something this year. They're constantly trying to squeeze something out of nothing, the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I could agree with you on that, man, because I feel like sometimes organizations, like maybe like the 49ers or different organizations, try to cover up certain players saying that they're going to be good this year. Oh, D Ford, oh my gosh. But then you don't see an improvement. You kind of see the same thing you saw last year. So it's more like, as a fan, you're kind of, I mean, if you're a 49ers fan, you kind of get more like, it's just waiting to see a player improve when they're not improving. And it's disappointing.
It is. All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's nice to be on the show. Thank you, man.
Thanks for calling in. Alpha Man, you there?
Right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm not a 49ers fan, but I do have a question. I'm a Chargers fan, by the way.
Okay.
I have a rebuttal to what the last Colt fan had said. Phillip Rivers always been the same kind of quarterback. He just had help what we did not.
True.
Well, we did
get offensive line in Indianapolis, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And also a running game as well.
True.
So think about it like this. Just look at the Bills game when the Colts went up there. If Michael Pittman doesn't drop that touchdown, they win that shit. They go up to Arrowhead. I think they could have beaten the freaking Chiefs.
Wow.
That's how good of a team that they actually were with Phillip Rivers. They just need a quarterback.
That's true. I remember that game 2 years ago. That's true. It was close. It was close.
Dude, it was a good one.
Yeah,
it was a good one.
Yeah.
I just hate how Phillip Rivers went out, but I digress. I'm getting off topic. Okay, so the reason why I jumped in here as a Chargers fan is because we play this season. See, I'm scared more of the scheme and the players that the 49ers have rather than the quarterback.
Yeah.
If Jimmy Garoppolo
you don't
plays,
even know the quarterback is.
Exactly, right now, because Trey Lance is inexperienced and Jimmy Garoppolo, we know how the hell he is. So it's literally just, okay, we'll have to wait and see. But it should be a good
name me another contender in the NFL right now that hasn't named their starting quarterback.
A
contender.
What? I want to see. Okay, I said a contender.
I mean, the Niners have the sixth best odds to win the Super Bowl, and no one knows who their starting quarterback is.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy to me.
Jesus
I feel
Christ.
like we might
insane.
be a little over optimistic with this Niners team right now. Like, look at what the Chargers did this offseason. Look at what the Niners did this offseason.
Right, and I love what we did, but I'm just saying the 49ers are good at scheming. Just like look what the hell they did to Green Bay in the championship. They literally had Jimmy Garoppolo. What did he throw like 8 times?
That's true.
They literally ran the ball and won it. That's what I'm saying. The quarterback doesn't have to do much, but it would be beneficial. Let's look at how Shanahan made Matt Ryan in that 16 season. Mm-hmm. If you had a quarterback that can read defense and make the throws, the 49ers are a championship Super Bowl winning team.
Well, he doesn't have that.
Exactly.
He has Jimmy Garoppolo who can't read defenses or make throws, and he has Trey Lance, who I wouldn't expect. I mean, he holds the ball as long as any quarterback in the league because he hasn't played in 2 years.
Right. And he doesn't have the experience.
No, he's going to run around and sort of buy himself time when he doesn't see things correctly, which is fine.
Right. That's not going to be a bad thing. It's just he needs to learn how to. I think he will be. He'll be better this season.
It takes time.
Exactly. Just give him a shot. Just give him a chance. Give him some time.
Yes.
But it's just a matter of
pocket passing is a game of repetitions, in my opinion. You need to be in the pocket, moving around, reading defenses. You can't. It's not just like an inherent skill. You learn that.
Agreed.
So he's going to have to learn that.
So how do you feel about Shanahan? Not just as a play caller, just as a coach. How do you feel about him?
I mean, I think he can get hot. He's a really good play designer. He can win with scheme, but man, as a decision maker, he's not good. It's why they still haven't settled on a quarterback. It's why they have a new starting running back every single year. He is very good, and I think he feels like his scheme supersedes talent, but it doesn't in the NFL. If he just could settle on a good quarterback, he'd be a champion. But he gets in his own way a lot for a very good coach.
I have not paid attention to how 49ers win and lose games. I'm gonna have to do that this season just because I've seen the Super Bowl. Was that really Shanahan's fault that he lost the Super Bowl? Because Matt Ryan did make the throw to Julio, but the decision to not run the ball while they're in field goal range, I think that cost him. I think where you said, I agree with you. I agree with you where you said
he was down there taking sacks and field goal range, calling 7-step drops. What are you doing? Yeah,
exactly. No,
I think his decision making is straight up erratic. And he can be very hot, but you get him to the end of the season, all of a sudden, I don't know if you know this, but the Niners lost in the NFC Championship game. Deebo got no touches the final 13 minutes of that game. How is that happen? How does that happen? How?
Wow.
When the Rams are close with a team late, it's just Cooper Kupp over and over. Of course. Just like in basketball, when the Warriors are close down the stretch, it's just Steph Curry over and over and over again. How smart? How smart of a coach do you have to be to not get the ball to Deebo? You really overthink things. And you did the same thing in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. All of a sudden, you get there and you're trying to cross the finish line, and Kyle doesn't go to the guys who got him there. It's weird. It's really super weird.
Wow, it's crazy. He has just one player that we can go on and on about how these 49ers look. Honestly, it's just at the end of the day, all you need to just see about Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just that missed throw to Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl. That's all. That just sums up his entire career. Just missed opportunities.
And to think that he's still on the team almost 3 years later is baffling. We've seen enough for years, but he's still here. Hey, just be happy that he's not your quarterback, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got Justin Herbert, dude. We're straight.
I saw him at the joint practices last year, and just watching him warm up, dude. I mean, I like Trey Lance, but Trey Lance, every 10th throw of Trey Lance will go over the guy's head. He's not the most accurate dude. Justin Herbert is like a jugs machine. The spiral's perfect. He hits the guy between the numbers. It's Whoa!
It was crazy in his first year. I'm telling you, the most underrated throw was in Kansas. Was against Kansas City in 2020. That throw at damn near triple coverage to Keenan Allen. That was the throw that kind of just had me just staring at the screen because I thought it was going to be intercepted, but he layered it so perfectly. People need to look at that throw and just like say, how hard is it? Those are kind of the throws Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady makes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's insane. Those are what elite quarterbacks make.
Yeah, no, just watching Justin Herbert for 2 days in a joint practice, I was like,
yeah, he's it. And I heard he's like 6'6". I definitely got.
That's the best arm I've ever seen on a practice field, like in person. I mean, are you kidding?
Out of every quarterback you've seen, even
I've ever seen, best arm I've ever seen. Like better than Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Trey. The precision, the oh my God, he's a judge machine. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
And he's just gonna get even better. It's crazy.
Congratulations, man. Have a great day.
And I'll be looking forward to that 49ers game as well.
It's gonna be a good one,
hopefully you do a live. Hopefully I can hop back in here.
I probably will.
Game or something like that.
I'm sure I will. All right, man.
All right, take it easy.
Timothy says play design equals genius, play calling equals bust for Kyle. Fair. He can get in a groove where he's a great play caller too. It's just he gets right down to the end of the season and he forgets all the good things he was doing, which is a little frustrating. Are there any more? I don't think so. Smack Jones.
What's up, Grant? How you doing, boss?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Just want to say appreciate for all the content you're putting out there for us, man. I really appreciate y'all guys. I know that's a lot of hard work to keep us relevant like that. You know, y'all got a lot of stuff to work with. But my first point to say is, man,
where you calling from?
Raleigh, North Carolina, 919,
okay.
baby.
Cool, man. I love how nationwide Niner fans are. All right, keep going.
Yeah, we everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give you your props, Grant. I hate for it to happen this early, man, but I think we screwed the pooch on this whole Jimmy G thing.
Yeah.
And I really think the only way to get rid of him, man, is got to package somebody with him, somebody with some value, somebody that might be aging before our eyes, might not be the same man. And since they best friends, man, you might well go ahead and Kittle
I knew you were gonna say that.
Might as well go ahead and throw Kittle in there. And I got some facts to back up my argument.
Let's talk about it.
First fact. This is Brandon's Ayuk's second off-season working with Trey Lance. So I see them building a repertoire, building a relationship together when it comes to timing. Number two, Deebo, he's going to get paid. I think Shanahan needs a gadget guy. I would say a Percy Harvin type player. Throw him in the backfield, catch some catches. Hell, if you need to do some returns, do whatever you need to do to wear him out to win the game. And I think Kittle is just out of there, man. I think he don't have no chemistry. I think his health is declining. I think you're paying too much for an elite blocking tight end. Point blank, period.
I agree.
He's not as
right here, man. I'm with you on this.
He's not as versatile as what's your boy Pitts from Atlanta. He's not as versatile as Pitts. He's not as fluid after the catches as Travis Kelce anymore, and he's not as fast.
He's not a red zone threat.
He's not a red zone threat. He's not a matchup problem. He's not as fast as Darren Waller. So what are you paying him for?
He's not as good as he was
blocking?
2 years ago.
He's not. You can't pay that much money for a tight end that's just going to give you elite blocking and do some slant routes. You can't do that. So get him with Jimmy and get somebody to shore up this line, get some pieces that you need. I don't believe we need a elite quarterback to win with this roster we have. I think Trey can do it if you put the right pieces around him. If you build that offensive line, if you get some safeties up than Tart that's going to sit there and just, the only reason we got him because he has a good blend with Ward. I don't agree with that. We need a playmaker back there. And also get him a legit deep threat. There's plenty of free agents left to do that. And I believe we have enough to actually go over the hump. My thing is somebody here got to roll over this Jimmy G thing. Why is he still here, man? Why? We know what he is. He's not going to change at 30-some years old. He is what he is. We know he's good for 1 to 2 picks a game. And at the end of the day, everybody says, he gets the ball out quick. You have to get the ball out quick when all you can do is slant routes and drag routes.
And you can't move.
Can't move. He can't do nothing. So what do you have to do? He can't stand back there. He can't buy time. So he has to get rid of the ball quick. And then when those people aren't open on those simple routes through the middle, you see what they do. He freezes up. So
and it's not like he's like Peyton Manning where he gets at the line of scrimmage and looks at the defense and puts a guy in motion. He's like, this guy's going to be open. Like Jimmy has no freaking clue what he's looking at.
He has no clue.
No idea who's going to be open. It's like, okay, I'm throwing to Kittle this time. Kittle. And if he's not open, he'll force into triple coverage. How many times have we seen that? In the red zone.
Continues. That's his habits. He ain't gonna break that habit at 30-something years old.
He just
Trey might have
in hopes that Kyle Shanahan gives him a good first read.
Hey, look, if Trey Lance has them habits and we know that's his habits now, we might can change that because he's young. He only has minimal snaps. He might can change that. But Jimmy, he's not changing. He is what he is. And
he makes the
somebody
same mistakes every game.
Off this. Huh?
He makes the same mistakes every game. That's why I thought Trey should have started last year. It's like you could say you can't play a rookie, but Jimmy plays like a rookie and he doesn't improve. This rookie over here has talent and might improve.
Exactly. So put him in there and get rid of him. Get him
what
off
a
the
mistake not playing Trey Lance was. Had they given him 7 starts, 8 starts, I would feel really confident about this team. The Niners might feel confident enough to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and actually invest in the offensive line. But no, they didn't freaking play Trey last year, so they're still caught in limbo. Still, and it's their fault.
Exactly. And for anybody that's any Jimmy G lover out there, I would tell them to go back and watch the Cowboys game, the last 3 drives, where he almost threw 3 picks in the flats. And then go also look at that last Ram game where he had a chance to go and win that game. That man did not want no part of that situation. Nope. If you look in that man's face, he looked like Sam Darnold, like he was seeing ghosts, the Sixth Sense or something. He did not want no parts of that moment. He didn't know what to do.
Haley Joel Osment.
I'm telling you, man, I go back and I looked at it last week, man. You looking at that man's face, it looked like he was in a horror picture, man. M. Night Shyamalan movie.
True.
exactly.
True, man.
But I appreciate you picking up my phone call. I'm a big fan, man. I don't want to waste your time. I know the other callers out there, but I appreciate everything you do for the 49ers community, man.
Dude, you knocked it out, man. That was a great first call. It was a great call for anyone. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Swan Song.
What's up, Grant?
What's up, Swan Song? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Okay, so as far as I'll answer the question, are the 49ers still a playoff team? I think they can be a playoff team, but I'm not as positive of this going into this season as I was last season.
If they stay healthy and Deebo Samuel runs the ball 150 times, no question. Otherwise,
yeah. And if the question marks on the O-line actually are decent.
I mean, this is a team that has had to go to their backup quarterback every single year except for 2019. They might want to take offensive line a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, so I think they need a draft offensive line. I have a proposal of how do you do this.
Mm-hmm.
This hasn't been talked a lot, but I still think Pittsburgh would jump on getting Jimmy G if it was practically giving them away, essentially. Sure. Okay, so they have pick 51, right? Second round. You give one of your 2 compensatory picks, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's like 103 or whatever that we have, 102. Mm-hmm. And you give him Jimmy. Mm-hmm. At this point, I'm pretty sure Jimmy G and Don Yee are willing to negotiate a contract with Pittsburgh that they can get him at a fair price, right? Because what else does he have? Hope that he's going to play for the 49ers? Because if he gets cut, there's no way he's making anywhere close to $27 million, right? Like, there's no way. So make that trade with Pittsburgh. Give them whatever you need to get to 51. Then you could choose. There's a tackle named Tyler Smith out there that you can probably get at 51. Abraham Lucas is another guy. Or if you want to get frisky and if Christian Watson is around by the early second round, which I don't think he will at this point, but let's say if he is, you take 51 and 61, trade up to the Jets 35 because they have 2 in the second round. They have 35 and 38. Mm-hmm. You give them 61 and 51 for 35. You take Christian Watson.
Moving up. See, I'm actually more interested in trading down. I think the Niners need like more picks in the top 100 or the top 125.
I get your point there about just trying to get as many as you can, but the problem is this roster's pretty filled out. Like, unless you plan to cut some people, I mean, filled out as in numbers.
A starter at nickel, a starter at guard, a starter at tackle, a starter at running back. I don't know how filled out this roster is. That's my whole point.
Yeah, I guess what you could do is
they have like 4 or 5 Pro Bowlers or all pro guys, but actually they've just lost 4 or 5 starters.
Yeah, what I mean by filled out is that I guess you could have a big competition, but then all the guys that you have right now as depth, those guys would lose their jobs to those draft picks, right? Because the Niners aren't just going to cut a draft pick unless they put those draft picks that lose into the practice squad. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how many spots they're available. I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, we have a lot of question marks. for sure that need to be answered. And of course, offensive line is the biggest one. I just have this worry that the Niners think offensive line, what we're seeing right now, is what we're going to get. Because Kyle, he's not about to play first-year rookies on the O-line because this system is too complicated or whatever, right? So
yeah.
And all the guys that he has right now have been at least in the system for a year, right? Like if Banks goes to left guard, and then right guard, of course, is Brunskill, and then right tackle, McGlinchey is not going to be around week 1. He's probably going to come, if anything, in the middle of the season. So we have a hole there. So, yeah.
And I still think they need to replace Raheem Mostert. Deebo did a good job last year, but I don't think they want him to do that full time. And I don't think Elijah Mitchell does that either. I think Elijah Mitchell is the Tevin Coleman running back, the small but powerful guy, the guy who packs a punch in a compact frame. They need an explosive perimeter runner. It shouldn't be Deebo. They should get that guy. I think it's just as big of a need as the offensive line. Now, everyone thinks it's easy to replace a running back. Fine, do it. Do it, 49ers. Do it.
And how they go through running backs, they have to definitely draft one. If James Cook is there, you grab him. But there's another guy that you get in the 5th round probably, is this guy from, I think, Louisiana, Pierre Strong Jr. He ran a 4.3 something 40.
He's from South Dakota. Yeah, he ran a 4.3.
Yeah. And that'd be an interesting pick. But there's guys out there that they can go. But they definitely need to get a running back, 100%. And I think they need a guard / center, and a tackle / guard. I think that's what they need to do.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see if they trade up or trade down. It's going to be very interesting to see how they approach this. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Swanson, good call. Thanks for calling. Man. All right, peace. Joshua says Niners are the best 6 seed. All right, best 6 seed, but the same teams fighting for the spot. Eagles, Vikings, Commanders, Saints are doing more and getting healthy. That's what I'm saying, guys. What I'm saying is, don't be surprised if the Niners miss the playoffs, and don't blame Trey Lance if they do. Because there's a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo fans who are licking their chops, seeing what's happening to this team, and getting ready to blame Trey Lance for everything. You can spot these people on Twitter when they say the Niners are going to go as far as Trey Lance takes them. No, that was never true. It was never true with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo never took the Niners anywhere. They went way farther than he could take them, and they could go way farther than Trey Lance could take them, but they're downgrading their team in really weird places. So anyway, while the rest of the league gets better and the schedule gets tougher. So I'm curious to see what happens. Guys, the show's been going over an hour and a half. I got to stop. But I'll be back soon in a few days, and we'll do it again. President Watt, Pinor, Rich Gravy, Christopher. I'll jump you guys to the front of the line next time. Sorry about that. Hold on. Rod Simmons says we need a new center. If Matt gets hurt, Brunskill not the guy. Yeah, man. 37-year-old center. That's a question mark. The Niners have big question marks on their offensive line right where you don't want them. Anyway, thanks for calling, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with Vish, and I will do a Cohn phone probably midweek. See you.